When duty calls. Until lions have their own historians, tales of the hunt shall always glorify the hunter. This is an African proverb that encapsulates my research philosophy. It's one of integrity, liberation, and empowerment. It's from this lens that I view the world as both a researcher and a South African woman of color. My name is LYNN HENDRICKS and I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. I'm a third year PhD student. I'm a joint Global Mind Scholar at KU Leuven and Stellenbosch University, and I work in a transdisciplinary space between social sciences and public health. I'm a practicing research psychologist for the past 11 years, and I recently expanded my transdisciplinary wings when I completed my MSc in clinical epidemiology. At the start of my PhD journey when I was 15 years old, I knew that doing my PhD is what I wanted to achieve. 20 years later, I still felt the urge to reach for my dream. By then, I had mentored my own students and gained real-world experience. Yet I saw little to no African-centered examples in our textbooks, in our exam papers, our theories with which we chose to conduct therapies, or in the teaching that I was doing. We were missing from our work. I was missing from this work, and this was a very unsettling feeling. It's something you cannot completely comprehend until you experience it, and this discomfort grew inside of me. Sometimes it turned to frustration, sometimes pain, mostly a drive to make my own examples to create for my own people, so that my work does not create the same exclusion I felt. And the decolonial work within me had begun. Duty called. I asked myself, how can I use my research work to help my community? What can I do as a researcher to make a difference? Not in a few years' time. Now, what can I do now? And this question has plagued me for many years. In 2018, I let go of my sticky note wall of PhD ideas and pinned down a proposal to submit for funding. Prof. Hannes and I spent time writing a proposal. 3 days before the deadline, the uncomfortable feeling started again, like heartburn. Duty was calling me. I quickly called and changed my topic. Just 3 days before the deadline. My current PhD aims to explore medication adherence for young women growing up with HIV from a new materialist perspective. This work invites me to be African-centered, innovative, artistic, and not fitting within convention, while still contributing to science, allowing me to execute my duty. Last year, I was ready to start my field work today, yet the pandemic has taken over the world completely. What now? I see their faces, torn clothing, broken shoes, knocking on my car window asking for a few coins. I chose not to give them money. Instead, I stop at the store and buy bread and juice and drive back. Their smile melts my heart and floods me with guilt. This is my community for my field work. How dare I enter this territory to collect data when the people need me more than I need them? I recognized the familiar calling in me and decided to use the time I had while working from home to cook some soup and hand it out on the street in the evening. I started out with 2 people, going out twice a week. It felt so rewarding. More people kept calling, needing food, others calling to volunteer. Before I knew it, I was coordinating 23 volunteers, then 35, then 47. At one point, we were 64, delivering 5 tons of food across 2 suburbs weekly. And each time I went out, I saw people there. I experienced something called researcher guilt. I felt guilty for the proposal I wrote, guilty that I referred to my community as participants, guilty I assumed I knew them well enough to formulate the generic consent form, guilty I thought I knew their arts, guilty I allowed my duty for academic advancement to trump my duty for humanity, no matter how good my intentions were. And I sat with this for weeks, the discomfort, the guilt. Every pot I cooked, as big as 50 liters, I poured my heart out, asking questions of purpose and what I hoped to achieve. I began to make sense of it all and realized that I would not have been given this opportunity to connect and bond with community members in the way I did had I not had lived through this pandemic. We were going through a storm together, navigating our stories, crying, laughing, building trust. I was navigating complex community dynamics, political structures, and I was invited into people's 5 square meter homes to share meals together. We were stripped of the pressure to perform in the research or participant role, and we were together as people. Collaborative practice was happening both within me as a transdisciplinary researcher and a community activist, and it was happening around me within the communities we were volunteering in. For months, no one knew what I did as a career, but when they found out, they were receptive, and I did not feel any walls go up. We had been in the trenches together for too long. My entire focus during the volunteering was collaboration with others to serve the community. I was not thinking of building rapport. My call to duty was genuine and rapport became organic. Some lessons I learned about collaboration is that it's a two-way street and both parties must want to collaborate with one another. Not everyone you want to collaborate with wants to collaborate with you, and that is okay. Collaboration benefits from openness and transparency. The qualitative research process can become a manipulative masterpiece if you are too pragmatic and technical in your approach. Subjectivity and humanness must be leveraged as a strength when approaching people. When thinking of your sampling and participants, think of it as people and networking. And every person is a collaborator and contributor to the work you are co-creating. Once again, the community has given me more than I could ever repay. The learnings from this experience are spilling over into my fieldwork and beyond, to use it to be more than just a participatory community researcher, to be sensitive to the needs of my collaborators, and to ensure that they are taken care of as we make our voices heard and create African-centered knowledge. This is now my duty. Thank you so much.